The T.S. Eliot bibliography contains a list of works by T.S. Eliot. Poetry. The following is a list of books of poetry by T.S. Eliot arranged chronologically by first edition. Some of Eliot's poems were first published in booklet or pamphlet format, proofread and other observations. London, Egoist, 1917. Poems, Richmond, Surrey, Hogarth Press, 1919. Arravos Creek, London, Ovid Press, 1920. Poems, New York, Knopf, 1920. The Waste Land, New York, Boney and Amp, Liveride, 1922. Poems 1909 to 1925. London, Faber and Amp, Guire, 1925. Journey of the Magi, London, Faber and Amp, Guire, 1927. A Song for Simeon, London, Faber and Amp, Guire, 1928. Anna Miller, London, Faber, 1929. Ash Wednesday, New York, Fountain Press, 1930. Marina, London, Faber, Words for Music. Bryn Mawr, PA, privately printed. 1934. Collected Poems 1909 to 1935. London, Faber, 1936. Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. London, Faber, 1939. East Coker, London, Faber, 1940. Burnt Norton, London, Faber, 1941. The Dry Salvages, London, Faber, 1941. Little Gidding, London, Faber, 1942. Four Quartets, New York, Harcourt, Brace, 1943. Selected Poems, Harmonsworth, Penguin, Faber, 1948. The Undergraduate Poems of T.S. Eliot, Cambridge, Harvard Printing Office. Poems written in early youth, Stockholm, privately printed, 1950. The Complete Poems and Plays. New York, Harcourt, Brace, 1952. Collected Poems 1909 to 1962. London, Faber, 1963. Valerie Elliott ed. The Waste Land, a facsimile and transcript of the original drafts. London, Faber, Christopher Ricks ed. Inventions of the March Hare, Poems, 1909 to 1917. London, Faber. Plays. The following is a list of plays by T.S. Eliot arranged chronologically by first edition. Sweeney Agonists, Fragments of an Aristophanic Melodrama. London, Faber, 1932. The Rock, a Pageant Play. London, Faber, 1934. Murder in the Cathedral, London, Faber, 1935. The Family Reunion, London, Faber, 1939. The Cocktail Party, London, Faber, 1950. The Film of Murder in the Cathedral, London, Faber, 1952. The Confidential Clerk, London, Faber, 1954. The Elder Statesman, London, Faber, 1959. Collected Plays, London, Faber, 1962. Fiction, Eeldrop and Appleplex, I. Little Review, Chicago, Illinois, IV, 1 pp. 7-11. Non-fiction. The following is a list of non-fiction books by T.S. Eliot arranged chronologically by first edition. Ezra Pound, His Metric and Poetry. New York, Knopf, 1918. The Sacred Wood, Essays on Poetry and Criticism. London, Methuen, 1920. Homage to John Dryden, 3 Essays on Poetry of the 17th Century. London, The Hogarth Press, 1924. Shakespeare and the Stoicism of Seneca. London, Oxford University Press, 1927. For Lancelot Andrewes, Essays on Style and Order. London, Faber and Amp, Guire, 1928. Dante. London, Faber, 1929. Thoughts After Lambert. London, Faber, 1931. Triumphal March, London, Faber 1931. Charles Whibley, A Memoir, London, Oxford University Press 1931. Selected Essays, 1917 to 1932. London, Faber 1932. John Dryden, The Poet, the Dramatist, the Critic. New York, Terence and Amp. Elsie Holiday, 1932. The Use of Poetry and the Use of Criticism, Studies in the Relation of Criticism to Poetry in England. London, Faber, 1933. After Strange Gods, A Primer of Modern Heresy. London, Faber, 1934. Elizabethan Essays. London, Faber, 1934. Essays Ancient and Amp. Modern. London, Faber, 1936. The Idea of a Christian Society. London, Faber, 1939. John Hayward, ed. Points of View. London, Faber, The Classics and the Man of Letters. London, Oxford University Press, 1942. The Music of Poetry. Glasgow, Jackson, Son, publishes to the University, 1942. Reunion by Destruction. London, Pax House, 1943. What is a Classic? London, Faber, 1945. A Practical Possum. Cambridge, Harvard Printing Office, 1947. On Poetry. Concord Academy, 1947. Milton, London, Geoffrey Cambridge, 1947. A Sermon. Cambridge University Press, 1948. Notes towards the Definition of Culture. London, Faber, 1948. From Poe to Valerie. New York, Harcourt Brace, 1948. The Aims of Poetic Drama. London, Poets Theatre Guild, 1949. Poetry and Drama. Cambridge, Harvard University Press, 1951. An Address to Members of the London Library. London Library, 1952. The Value and Use of Cathedrals in England Today. Chichester, Friends of Chichester Cathedral, 1952. American Literature and the American Language. St. Louis, Washington University, 1953. The Three Voices of Poetry. Cambridge University Press, 1953. Religious Drama, Medieval and Modern. New York, House of Books, 1954. The Cultivation of Christmas Trees. London, Faber, 1954. The Literature of Politics. London, Conservative Political Center, 1955. The Frontiers of Criticism. Minneapolis, University of Minnesota Press, 1956. On Poetry and Poets. London, Faber, 1957. Geoffrey Faber, 1889–1961. London, Faber, 1961. George Herbert. London, Longmans, 1962. Knowledge and Experience in the Philosophy of F. H. Bradley. London, Faber, 1964. To Criticize the Critic and Other Writings. London, Faber, 1965. Frank Commode, ed. Selected Prose of T.S. Eliot. London, Faber, Ronald Schuchard, ed. The Varieties of Metaphysical Poetry. The Clark Lectures at Trinity College, Cambridge, 1926, and the Turnbull Lectures at the Johns Hopkins University, 1933. London, Faber. Letters. The following is a list of books of letters by T.S. Eliot arranged chronologically by first edition. Valerie Elliott, ed. The Letters of T.S. Eliot, Volume 1, 1898–1922. London, Faber and Faber. ISBN 9780571235094. Valerie Elliott and Hugh Horton, ed. The Letters of T.S. Eliot, Volume 2, 1923–1925. London, Faber and Faber. ISBN 9780571140817. Valerie Elliot and Hugh Horton ed. The Letters of T.S. Eliot, Volume 3, 1926-1927. London, Faber and Faber. ISBN 9780300187236. Valerie Elliot and John Haffenden ed. The Letters of T.S. Eliot, Volume 4, 1928-1929. London, Faber and Faber. ISBN 9780571290925. Valerie Elliot and John Haffenden ed. The Letters of T.S. Eliot, Volume 5, 1930-1931. London, Faber and Faber. ISBN 9780571316328. Valerie Elliot and John Haffenden ed. The Letters of T.S. Eliot, Volume 6, 1932-1933. London, Faber and Faber. ISBN 9780571316342. Works on T.S. Eliot. The following is a list of works about T.S. Eliot and his works. Ackroyd, Peter. T.S. Eliot, A Life. New York, Simon & Amp, Schuster. ISBN 9780671530433. Bergston, Staffan. Time and Eternity, A Study in the Structure and Symbolism of T.S. Eliot's Four Quartets. Stockholm, Svenska Bokförlaget. Blay Myers, Harry. Word Unheard, A Guide Through Eliot's Four Quartets. London, Methuen, Clark, Graham ed. T.S. Eliot, Critical Assessments. London, Helm. ISBN 9780747004196. Cooper, John Zyros. T.S. Eliot and the Ideology of Four Quartets. Cambridge, Cambridge University Press. ISBN 978-0521-496292. Drew, Elizabeth A. T.S. Eliot, The Design of His Poetry. New York, Scribner. ISBN 978-0684-101316. Fry, Northrop. T.S. Eliot, Edinburgh, Oliver and Boyd. Gardner, Helen. The Composition of Four Quartets. London, Faber, Gordon, Lindell. T.S. Eliot, An Imperfect Life. London, Vintage. ISBN 978-0393-047288. Grant, Michael ed. T.S. Eliot, The Critical Heritage. London, Routledge and Amp. Kegan Paul. Kirk, Russell. Benjamin G. Lockett, Jr. ed. Eliot and His Age. T.S. Eliot's Moral Imagination in the 20th Century. Wilmington Intercollegiate Studies Institute. ISBN 978-1933859538. Jones, David E. The Plays of T.S. Eliot. London, Routledge and Amp. Kegan Paul. Matthews, T.S. Great Tom. Notes Towards the Definition of T.S. Eliot. New York, Harper and Ampro. ISBN 978-006-01283888. Mathieson, Francis Otto. The Achievement of T.S. Eliot. An Essay on the Nature of Poetry. New York, Maxwell, Desmond. The Poetry of T.S. Eliot. London, Routledge and Amp. Kegan Paul. ISBN 978-0710018106. Mayer, John T. T.S. Eliot, Silent Voices. New York, Oxford University Press. ISBN 978-019-505666. Miller, James Edwin, Jr. T.S. Eliot, The Making of an American Poet, 1888–1922. University Park, Pennsylvania State University Press. ISBN 978-0271-026817. Murray, Paul. T.S. Eliot and Mysticism, The Secret History of Four Quartets. Basingstoke, Macmillan. ISBN 978-0312-035310. Narita, Tatsushi. T.S. Eliot and His Youth as a Literary Columbus. Nagoya Kougaku Shopen. ISBN 978-4903742151. North, Michael, ed. The Waste Land, Authoritative Text, Contexts, Criticism. New York, Norton. Quillian, William H. Hamlet and the New Poetic, James Joyce and T.S. Eliot. Ann Arbor, UMI Research Press. ISBN 978-0835714228. Rain, Craig. T.S. Eliot. New York, Oxford University Press. ISBN 978-019-977417-3. Rainey, Lawrence, ed. The Annotated Waste Land, with T.S. Eliot's Contemporary Prose. New Haven, Yale University Press. Schuchard, Ronald. Eliot's Dark Angel, Intersections of Life and Art. New York, Oxford University Press. ISBN 978-019-510417-2. Schofield, Dr. Martin. T.S. Eliot, The Poems. Cambridge, Cambridge University Press. ISBN 978-0521-30147-3. Sencourt, Robert. Donald Adamson, ed. T.S. Eliot, A Memoir. New York, Dodd, Mead. Smith, Christian. Poetry and Belief in the Work of T.S. Eliot. London, Routledge and Kegan Paul. Smith, Grover Cleveland, Jr. T.S. Eliot's Poetry and Plays, A Study in Sources and Meaning. Chicago University Press. ISBN 978-0226-764382. Smith, Grover Cleveland, Jr. The Waste Land. London, Allen and Amp, Unwin. Spender, Stephen. T.S. Eliot, New York, Viking. ISBN 978-0670-291847. Spur, Barry. Anglo-Catholic in Religion. T.S. Eliot and Christianity. Cambridge, The Lutterworth Press. ISBN 978-0718830731. Sullivan, Sheila, ed. Critics on T.S. Eliot. Readings in Literary Criticism. London, Allen and Unwin. Tate, Allen, ed. T.S. Eliot, The Man and His Work. London, Chatto and Amp, Windus. Unger, Leonard, ed. T.S. Eliot, A Selected Critique. New York, Reinhardt. Williamson, George. A Reader's Guide to T.S. Eliot, A Poem by Poem Analysis. New York, Noonday Press. ISBN 978-081560-500-3.